What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, bringing you an episode today with none other than Mr. Taylor Stack, about a week removed from his third place breakout performance at the 2025 U.S. Mountain Running Championship Sunapee Scramble. We talked a whole bunch of things about the race and how the race unfolded for Taylor. It was the men's race, both the men's and women's race were absolutely bananas, but this one was really fun to follow along, as Taylor had, at one point in time, had been in the lead of the race and almost won the damn thing. It was pretty fun getting to chat and talk about it and what it means to him in his young career to make Team USA and go competing over in the Pyrenees in September. It's a really fun conversation, very insightful. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this one. Without further ado, Taylor Stack. Taylor Stack, welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How you doing, man?
Doing really well. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Stoked to be back on with you. I feel like we just chatted because we just did. Dude, congratulations. You ran a big race this weekend, got on the podium and cemented your spot on the world's team. How are you feeling right now, man?
Feeling great. I mean, yeah, this was the first kind of big important race of the season, and it went almost as well as it could have for me. So going in, the only major goal was to try and make that team, and it feels so good to get the job done and punch that ticket. So yeah, I'm stoked.
I mean, dude, like last year you showed, like, you had some amazing performances. You showed flashes of like a serious potential in the sport. And I feel like this was one of the ones that just breakout performance. Like, a lot of people know who you are now. Like, have you gotten a lot of followers and people reaching out to congratulate you in the time since the race?
Yeah, definitely gained a bunch of followers on Strava and Instagram and stuff, which is, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I feel like last year I had some good races, but I think this weekend proved that the training has leveled up and the fitness has leveled up with it this year. So I'm really excited to start the season off that way and see what happens next. So
absolutely, man. I mean, absolute world-class performance. And from what Mason, I already talked to Mason and David, and obviously they sung your praises immensely. But dude, you almost won the race. It was pretty damn close from what I understand. So maybe paint the picture, because there was, from what I saw as a commentator on the live stream, it seemed like you were in contact with the front of the race for pretty much the entire time. There was no time where you kind of fell back or was lagging. Maybe help paint the picture for me to understand where you got some separation and kind of how that played out.
Yeah. So I was, my main strategic thing was to save myself on the first lap, because in the past, I've had a tendency to go out really hard, which sometimes pays off, but sometimes really doesn't pay off. And I knew on a course like this, where there's two gnarly climbs, I was going to need to save some gas for the second one. And I'm really happy with my tactics and how I think I kept myself within striking distance of the front the whole time on the first lap without totally blowing myself out. Then had a good first descent and moved into position. And then my second climb was really great. And that's when I pulled into second. And then Mason and I were battling for a while, going into the single track section on the second climb. And then I kind of pulled away from him around there and was in the lead for the second part of that climb, and then starting the final descent, which was I was a little surprised, but I was I really want to win this race, and I'm just going to try and go for it here. But yeah, it was weird. I was dealing with some weird vision issues on the second descent, where I was getting really blurry. And so it was hard for me to really attack the downhill in the way that I wanted to. And obviously, David had an insane second lap. I mean, talk about good tactics. I think he really saved himself and then just was able to totally capitalize on that second lap, which was super impressive. And Mason, obviously, I mean, he was running from the front the whole race. So that was such a courageous and burly performance from him too. So huge respect to those guys. And then, but yeah, I wasn't able to hold him off quite enough on that last descent, but we all finished within 10 seconds of one another, which is crazy.
It was so close. Yeah. It was wild. Dude, that's so interesting. You speak of the blurry vision. Tyler McCandless said the same thing. So I wonder
Really?
what that is. If that's like, I don't know, like a result of, I don't know, like a result of pushing really like insanely hard, or like what that is. That's different. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too. The weird thing is like, I mean, obviously I was pushing hard, but I didn't feel like I was redlining as hard as I have like in some other races in the past where that didn't happen. So I'm wondering, I think for me it might have been a dehydration issue
Okay. Yeah.
because it kind of happened once before last year at Run 3 Time Marathon. Like I got this weird blurry vision after the race that lasted a couple hours. And it seemed like the same kind of thing. So I don't know. Dehydration's my best guess, but yeah, it just makes it hard to really attack the like technical terrain on the downhill when you can't quite see very well.
Yeah, big
But
time.
yeah,
What did
but
you? Oh, sorry.
no, you're good. I am still like super pleased with the race and like yeah, I hate excuses, but yeah, I mean it was a pretty sick race out there. So
Dude, you should do nothing but pat yourself on the back. I mean, in another universe, you're the champion. Like it was that close, like so crazy. So, yeah, I would do nothing but be extremely confident moving on from this one. And then the team we're sending, man, is like you guys. This is a great team, like a very stout, like stacked group of guys. So, yeah, it's pretty something. It's something to be excited about for sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cream rises to the top, and like there were a lot of fit guys in that race who had, you know, I think had a good chance at making the team, and it was just about who was able to execute on the day. And yeah, I think I have some confidence that we're sending a really burly, good, talented, fit team. So
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are going to compete for medals. There's no doubt in my mind. Was there anything about the course that surprised you? I know you got out like a couple days before, day before to get to see it. But just like the mud, man, like seemed like guys were slipping and sliding all over the place. Did you have any traction issues or were you pretty good and upright for the entire time? I didn't see you fall specifically.
yeah, I only fell once. It was like it was pretty minor though. I like just took a slide down one of the grassy, muddy spots. But yeah, I mean, I think like it rained 2 inches the day before the race, and so it was going to be muddy, and the traction isn't going to be perfect no matter what. But it's just a condition that everyone was dealing with, and I think that's what makes this sport kind of fun and interesting is when you have to deal with stuff like that and it's not perfect. But yeah, I think it was really, made the conditions fun and made the race super exciting.
Yeah. Amazing. Was there like, what did you think about like, obviously these races go out stupid fast, but like we're talking 4 minute grade adjusted pace, like in that range fast. How did that feel initially when things took off? Were you just like in control and chill, or were you like, I'm going to kind of get back within myself, or like, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of knew that it was going to go out fast and like too fast for a lot of people. So I made a conscious effort to not blow myself out in like the first half mile because the race starts and there's like a maybe 400 meters of kind of a flat downhill and then it goes straight into a ridiculously steep muddy climb.
Okay.
And at that point, I was like 15th place, like in the middle of that. And I knew that it was going to be easy to get super excited and go like full like VO2 max on that climb. And I was like, I can't do that. People are going to blow up. And like, I just had to trust that like I wanted to stay in control there and then kind of move up later on in the climb. So that was my strategy. But even still, I mean, I think I was running like 4:40 Strava gap
It's
for
fast as
that
shit.
first mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But yeah.
Was there any, obviously in these races, you're kind of within yourself and then, there's back and forth, right? When you're, guys make moves, you cover them. Was there any other competitors that surprised you? Like, was there anyone that kind of stuck out to you? Or like, wow, like that's like one of the things that like I was so blown away is Dan's downhill, dude. Holy shit. That guy's like insane. Like just watching him on the live stream was like, man, that's like one of the best downhillers in the world right there. Was there anyone like that like kind of stuck out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he's got that dog in him on the downhill for sure. So I wasn't super surprised to see that from him. But I think, David Norris, obviously he was like someone to be watching out for, but I didn't fully expect him to just like totally murder everyone like he did on that second lap. Like that was nuts. Such an impressive race for him. Like he was not one of the guys that I had on my radar as much as other people
Yeah.
going into it. So
It's funny. I forget that like you guys, so like in the Cirque series, that's all he really raced like the last few years. So like, but he also didn't show up to Snowbird last year, which was, I think was the only one you did, right? So no
yeah.
one, like a lot of people didn't really get a look at him. Which is interesting. And like, it's not that not a lot of people do Mount Marathon. Like a lot of people do it, but it's a very selective race. It's hard to get into. So, and not as many eyes have been on it in the last like decade or so. So yeah, it was very, dude, he wasn't even on the list of like, when I was reading it off in the live stream, and we were kind of going through the elite men, I was like, David Norris isn't even on this. Like, don't be surprised if that guy wins the race. And sure as shit, he did. So yeah, I think a lot of people looked past him and had no idea that like he was that talented. So almost an Olympian. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Also another one, shout out to Cam Smith, who
Yeah.
really showed up. Like that was sick.
Yeah.
He ran a bold race from the front and just like toughed it out. So that was cool. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, does this change anything for you now that you're on the team, like you're locked in, like, are you still like going out to Broken Arrow to go throw down there? Do you think you'll be a little more conservative and maybe just like approach things in a different way now that like you kind of locked up a spot and like that's the A goal now? Like how has that changed the calculus in your mind at all?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because my plan is and has been to double VK, or I guess Ascent now at Broken Arrow, and then do the 23K 2 days later. But it is, now that I have that spot secured, I'm considering the possibility of maybe not doing the VK and just going all in on the 23K to be fresh for that. I haven't decided yet, though. I think I'm still gonna, I need to mull it over because I think it would be sweet. And that VK is like one of the most like stacked fields of all time on American soil. Like
it's true.
And it would be really cool to be a part of that, but it would also be really cool to be able to watch the race. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I need to think about it, but yeah, people have asked me, if it's going to change the plan, and I still have to do some thinking on that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like it. I think it's smart too. Although, dude, you actually have the ability. You probably could like. There's a world where you could make both teams. So I don't know. Like that's compelling too. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be cool to make both teams. There's definitely, some people. I think like you have Joe Gray in the mix who wasn't there at Sunapee. People like that, and also I think there are some people who are more uphill oriented who are going to be maybe like more of a factor in the VK than they were at Sunapee. So I think my strength still is the best in races that have a downhill component to it. So yeah, we'll see. It would be cool to put my name in the hat, but then at the same time, it would also be cool to, give the option to other people who don't already have a spot as well. Not that I would be likely or guaranteed to take one of the VK spots, even if I did race. But yeah,
I think it's a good way to look at it for sure. How are you feeling? Are you have you been running at all, or are you kind of just taking some time off, or like where's the mind and body at right now?
I feel good. Yeah, I took Monday, the day after the race off, and that was just a big travel day. But getting back into it this week, I've been running since then, and maybe like a little more kind of an aerobic focus this week, just like keeping things chill and getting some miles without super intense. But yeah, I mean, my legs are definitely sore, but I think I've been training consistently enough to where my body's rebounding pretty well, and I'm feeling fairly recovered at this point. So yeah.
Nice. Dude, I gotta ask you, man, how were you so prepared for some of those descents? Like, were you specifically going to finding places to beat your legs up, like out in Fort Collins and like hammering descents? I didn't check your Strava before we chatted, but I gotta ask you, like, how did you prepare for some of that?
Yeah, it's funny because I think I mentally prepared for like it being really, really bad. Because that's what everyone said. Like everyone I talked to about Sunapee says that the downhill is insane and gnarly. But yeah, in terms of training, I didn't really do anything super targeted. I was making sure that I was getting, sprinkling in some steep uphills and steep downhills into training. But also just doing a lot of, flat, track work and leg turnover, stuff like that. And just, I think for me, like, it comes down to your fitness. So if you feel, if you're able to like run well on the climbs and then not be completely tired, then you'll have more energy to like attack the downhill.
Yeah.
That's the way that I kind of see it.
One thing I didn't ask you, did you hit any low points in the race? Like, I know Mason was pretty candid with like one low point, I think, where you passed him on that second climb. Like, did you have any points where you were like just hit a low, or did you feel pretty stable and just chill the whole time? Because you looked super smooth at the finish line.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I was feeling like really good for most of it, and I was pretty confident in my tactics and everything. And like fatigue wise, I felt great. I think the low point for me was like that last downhill when it was getting technical and my vision was kind of going out, and I felt like, I had the fitness to be running harder, but I was limited by not being able to see. And I was like stressed that I was going to fall and like hurt myself and not make the team. So I think there was like some anxiety during that last like mile of the race. Like after David and Mason passed me, I was like, is this going to blow the whole thing? But pulled it together. So yeah, no real low points. It was the whole race was a high point for me, I think.
Dude, it was so funny when you crossed the finish line. I guess there was a video. I can't remember if there was a video of it or I think it was both on the live stream. Some random guy was like, "Congratulations!" You were like out of it, and then kind of came back to it. You're like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I don't know if you thought it was somebody else or what, but it was kind of funny, like watching you being out of it and then kind of come back. Like it was.
Yeah. Well, it was funny too because they had multiple races going at the same time. There was like a high school race. And so people were finishing that, and you were passing people who were on their first lap or second lap or whatever. And so there were just a lot of people around, and I was like, couldn't see very well and didn't really know what was going on. Yeah, I was definitely a little disoriented in that moment. But yeah.
It was epic, dude. Absolutely epic. You know what? I think we got everything. Giant congratulations, man. Like breakout performance. Like it's just the beginning of this like great career you're going to have. And I'm super excited to follow along. So congratulations, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm stoked.
Yeah, you should be like big pat on the back. And I know David Roche messaged me, and like he was also in the live stream, like freaking out. But like I was messaging him, and he's like, I can't believe this. He's like, oh, so many of my athletes are like up at the front. So pretty damn cool.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool for David. I feel like his athletes balled out disproportionately, which is cool to see. So
you guys are doing something right. So hell yeah. Listen, Taylor, have a great rest of your day. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get this out on Friday, and we'll be in touch, man. Thank you.
Sounds great. Thanks, man.
I appreciate it, bro. Listen up, guys. The Steep Stuff podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. Guys, I am so excited. UD just dropped their new Race Vest 6-liter and Ultra Vest 12-liter in 2 beautiful aesthetic colors. You guys got to check these new vests out. They're dynamic in ways like that you just have never seen from an Ultimate Direction vest. Very stretchy, lots of storage, beautiful aesthetic colorways coming to you in a new, like a white and blue and an onyx and green. Just absolutely beautiful vests. I think these ones are just like some of the best products we've ever dropped, and I'm so excited for you guys to try them out. Hop on ultimatedirection.com and use code SteepStuffPod. Again, that's SteepStuffPod for 25% off your new vest. I mean, they're already affordably priced, but 25% off is just going to make it so much more affordable for folks in an already increasingly expensive trail running environment. So hop on ultimatedirection.com, get yourself a new vest, a pack, or any hydration solution, and let me know what you guys think.